Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to Accountant's Minute. And this is the update that we've been producing for the last 6 weeks. And we're going to continue going through to the 30th of September on COVID-19 survival tactics that you might implement for your clients, and some of them within your own accountancy firm. In this week's special webinar to be presented on Friday, 29 May at 12 noon AEST, we have Jordan Lowry, the Managing Director of Blackstone Business Services, a human resources and workplace health and safety consulting company, presenting a summary of Jordan's overview of what's been happening with the COVID-19 coronavirus, which he's calling impact and mindset. An interesting observation on Jordan's relationships over this 8-week period with accountancy practitioners and small and medium-sized business operators. I think you will find this interesting, especially some of the lessons that Jordan's summarizing as having being evident from his dealings with a number of businesses who have experienced various problems in their relationships with their employees. The second keynote speaker this week is Andrew Ward, who for many years was the independent director on Crowdfunding Industry Australia. This was the industry body that was established by the businesses that were originally interested in becoming crowdsource funding intermediaries, and subsequently primarily had a membership of the businesses that had been appointed by Australian Security Investment Commission as the crowdsource funding intermediaries. Andrew is going to trace the history of crowdfunding in Australia, and even though it's only been running here for 2 years, it really goes back for nearly 10 years when people started coming together and making submissions to the government about the need to create a crowdsource funding industry concept within Australia. And it took a long time, and Andrew Ward was there right through those negotiations. Andrew is then going to talk about the current position, what's happening. There are now 16 intermediaries that have been appointed. 4 are very proactive in the market and in fact have about an 85% share of the deal flow. And then Andrew will look to what he thinks is going to happen over the next few years, and in particular, the role that he believes that accountants can play in assisting small businesses and medium-sized enterprises be able to successfully finance their business operations. So I would commend this particular webinar to you as being a very interesting one. So you can go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au/webinars to register for this free webinar on Friday at 12 noon. And please get your reservation in quickly, because the registrations are filling up quite promptly. In last week's webinar, we had 2 presentations. One was made by Amanda Gascoigne, an accountant who now runs a mentoring and coaching service for small and solo accountancy firms, practitioners around Australia. And Amanda spoke about resetting for the new financial year has been very important to be thought about now. And it's just not the taxation side of things. It's also this broader range of financial responsibilities that have been thrust upon accountants in recent times that you can now take advantage of to cement an ongoing broader range of services, responsibilities with your clients. The next area that Amanda talks about is the metrics of a contemporary and profitable accountancy firm. Amanda's concerned that a number of smaller accountants are not being careful enough in setting of charge-out rates or recovering of time working for clients in fees. And she has some interesting comments to make on that. Also, she discussed why clients leave accountancy firms. And in the main, she believes that this is not over fees, even though fees might be mentioned as a reason. Primarily, it's because those clients who have left are looking for a wider range of professional services than what some accountancy firms are providing them. And the real frustration in this is that those firms probably could have supplied those services, but didn't think that client wanted that type of service. But invariably hadn't actually asked the client the services they required. An interesting matter to consider. And Amanda also talked about setting the strategies now for the next financial year. And these are strategies, first of all, within your own accountancy firm. And then also, of course, being mindful of the strategies that you might be able to suggest for your clients. And many of these strategies will be similar. So you only need to do it once or twice, and you'll have a good set of strategies which will probably cover 80% of your clients. I then made a presentation on the relationship of an accountant moving into the Chief Financial Officer role. Because if anything startling has occurred over the last 8 weeks when it comes to the accounting profession, is that most of you have had to do a broader range of work than what you would normally have been doing, especially at this time of the year for your clients. So you've established that you can undertake Chief Financial Officer services. So why not cement that relationship with your clients by indicating to your clients that you can continue this on? Because I think we're currently in the calm before the storm. By the 30th of September, there'll be no more deferment of debt recovery action by banks and other lenders that the government has currently temporarily introduced until the 30th of September. Liquidators will not be laying off staff in October. They want to be recruiting their staff back, but currently a number of them apparently have laid off their staff because they've got nothing to do. And I don't think there's going to be much joy from government grants other than some specific government grants like Export Market Development Grant and Accelerating Commercialisation. Because the state governments in particular have probably handed out 3 to 4 years supply of government grant funding over the last 8 weeks. I don't think that's going to be able to be continued. So it's going to be difficult for your clients to find money from banks and other institutions. This is why the planning should start now. Budgets, cash flow forecasts, to identify where the shortages are going to be. And then you could sit down and talk to your clients. And some of them will want to raise more than the $250,000 that's available under the coronavirus SME guarantee loans, 50% guaranteed by the federal government. So some of your clients should be starting to be encouraged to think about a Section 708 of the Corporations Act, capital raise up to $2 million in 12 months from a maximum of 20 investors, or a crowdsourced funding equity raising, capital raising, whereby they can raise up to $5 million from as many investors as they like over a 12-month period. Now is the time to start those conversations. So I look forward to you joining us for this Friday's webinar at 12 noon to hear Jordan Lowry and Andrew Ward. Please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au/webinars to register for the free webinar. And if you would like to view the webinar recordings from last week, please click on the email that you've received giving you this notification. Thank you for your support. Have a great week this week. Enjoy the first winter chills, and I'll talk to you again next week. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.